the nature to grow old.
There is no way to escape growing old. I am the nature to have ill health. There is no way to escape having ill health. I am the nature to die. There is no way to escape death. All that is dear to me and everyone I love are of the nature of change. There is no way to escape being separated from them. My deeds are my closest companions. I am the beneficiary of my deeds. My deeds are the ground on which I stand. I am the nature to grow old. There is no way to escape growing old. I am the nature to have ill health. There is no way to escape having ill health. I am the nature to die. There is no way to escape death. All that is dear to me and everyone I love are the nature of change. There is no way to escape being separated from them. My deeds are my closest companions. I am the beneficiary of my deeds. My deeds are the ground on which I stand. I am the nature to grow old. There is no way to escape growing old. I am the nature to have ill health. There is no way to escape having ill health. I am the nature to die. There is no way to escape death. All that is dear to me and everyone I love are the nature of change. There is no way to escape being separated from them. My deeds are my closest companions. I am the beneficiary of my deeds. My deeds are the ground on which I stand. This precious human life, rarely encountered, is easily lost. Now that I have life and opportunity, may I practice the Dharma wholeheartedly.
Mahayana refuge. In my heart, I take refuge in Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha.
May I liberate suffering beings and bring them to great joy. May the compassionate spirit of love grow within me, that I may actualize the great way. In my heart, I take refuge in Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. May I liberate suffering beings and bring them to great joy. May the compassionate spirit of love grow within me, that I may actualize the great way. In my heart, I take refuge in Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. May I liberate suffering beings and bring them to great joy. May the compassionate spirit of love grow within me, that I may actualize the great way. Invocation of the lineage. I give thanks for the guidance of my teachers. For the lineage of teachers before them, I give thanks and offerings for their devoted practice of generosity, moral discipline, patience, joyful effort, concentration, wisdom, skillful means, unshakable vow, spiritual powers, and awakened awareness for my benefit. May their years of life be lengthened, may their vows be completely realized, and may I cultivate these perfections with their guidance. 7 practices of the Bodhisattva. I bow down in body, speech, and mind. I offer the best I have to give, both real and imagined, to fill the space between us. I regret and purify all transgressions. I rejoice in all virtues. I request you to remain until total enlightenment. I request wise and compassionate guidance. I dedicate my merit for the sake of all beings. Generating love and compassion. May all sentient beings be free from clinging and hatred. Being close to some and distant from others, how wonderful it would be. May this be accomplished. I will free them from clinging and hatred. Bless me to accomplish this. May all sentient beings enjoy happiness and the causes of happiness. How wonderful it would be. May this be accomplished. I will bring them happiness and the causes of happiness. Bless me to accomplish this. May all sentient beings be freed from suffering and the causes of suffering. be accomplished.
I will free them from suffering and causes of suffering.
Bless me to accomplish this.
May all sentient beings have the joy that has never known suffering. May they be free from clinging, hatred, jealousy, miserliness, doubt, pride, wrong view, ignorance, and dualistic thoughts. How wonderful it would be. May this be accomplished. I will bring them to this state. Bless me to accomplish this. Please stand and turn to page 4 for a diversity. Great Prajna Paramita Heart Sutra.
Practicing deep Prajna Paramita, clearly saw that all 5 skandhas are empty, transforming all suffering and distress. Shari Putra form is no other than emptiness, emptiness no other than form, form is exactly emptiness, emptiness exactly form, sensation, perception, mental reaction, consciousness are also like this. Shari Putra, all things are essentially empty, not born, not destroyed, not stained, not pure, without loss, without gain. Therefore, in emptiness there is no form, no sensation, perception, Prajnaparamita, with no hindrance in the mind, no hindrance, and therefore no fear, far beyond elusive thinking. Right here is nirvana, all Buddhas of past, present, and future live by Prajnaparamita, attaining Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi. Therefore know that Prajnaparamita is the great sacred mantra, the great vivid mantra, the unsurpassed mantra, the supreme mantra, which completely removes all suffering. This is truth, not mere formality. Therefore set forth the Prajnaparamita mantra, set forth this mantra and proclaim Gate Gate Mara Gate Parsam Gate Bodhisattva Gate Gate Mara Gate Parsam Gate Bodhisattva Gate Gate Mara Gate Parsam Gate Bodhisattva. Infinite realms of light and dark convey the Buddha mind. All that is and we ourselves come forth in perfect harmony. We offer this sincere and devoted practice for the many beings of the six worlds and dedicate it in grateful thanks to the strength and sound practice of the Great Heartland Sangha and its teachers. May our virtuous actions be clear from all interferences, and may our vows be fully realized. We especially dedicate these merits to all those who suffer as a result of injustices, calamity, cruelty, and war. And to John, Pasek Dave, Kaijin, Stephen, Rhiannon, Dwayne Jr., Ryushin, Amy, Nancy, Sister Suzette, John, Charles, Stephen, Reverend Eugen, Reverend Zuise, Roger, and Laverne. May they have peace and healing. And to Jeremy, Robert, Ernest, and Phil at the time of their death. And to those we hold in the silence of our hearts, as well as those names we now voice aloud. May we live in perfect peace with Buddha Dharma, and may we realize the Buddha way together.
Grammar school teachers and students are dismissed. Everyone else, please prepare for Zazen. will now recite the Sangha Covenant found on page 8.
We, the Daishin of the Sangha, with respect for the worth and dignity of each person, with wonder at the wisdom and compassion we seek to cultivate by practice, and with deep gratitude for the teachers of this lineage and our connection to one another, covenant to support each other by upholding the precepts of doing no harm, practicing good, and actualizing good for others.
Please be seated. I'll sit comfortably and so we can make eye contact with the teacher. And in a moment, we'll recite the Gatan opening the sutra, also open to
receive and maintain. May we completely realize the Tathagata's true meaning.
mateys. I would actually like the notes I took. I don't know where they went. Jikai, did the dog chew them, or? My Zen students testing me. Not now, Cato. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I kind of know what I was going to do, so. Yeah, it's fun. It's beautiful. Isn't it wondrous? My goodness. So, I was not slated to give the talk this day, and here I am. And then I had an immediate thought, this is what the talk will be, and of course that isn't what wants to happen at all. And I worked on the notes, and then they're not there. But now they're arriving. Thank you, Reverend. Beautiful. All right. So, the solstice. This is a very, very potent time, okay? It doesn't matter to me what weight one gives to astrology and things like this, your call. But I will say that this solstice, there's something very real about the seasons. We can at least say that, right? The nature and the way the seasons are, they affect us because they are not separate from us. And I take it to be a great advantage, really, like where we happen to be living, that we get a full dose of all 5 seasons, the Indian summer, quote unquote, is a thing, right? And this unfolding of these seasons, one to the next, is a deeply wondrous thing. I think if I lived in an environment that it was always any one of those seasons all the time, I would miss the others deeply, myself. This particular solstice time is one of turning inwards. The energies of this time are really wind in the sails of self-reflection and really being willing to critically examine the assumptions that you have governed yourself by. Being willing to critically examine how you've not been very governable from yourself, let's say. Yeah, you are the master, after all. What is your will for yourself? And then what are you actually doing? And what is the difference? And why is there a difference? And making sure that what you're setting yourself to do, that which you seek to pursue and to develop, is worthy of the dignity of your attention. You, noble one, are an expression of the cosmos that has consciousness. Make sure what you allow in that consciousness is worthy of your royal life. Do not put up with anything that is lesser than that. So this solstice today is happening somewhere around now or about an hour ago, the point itself, okay? So I really encourage everyone to use this time. And a couple of comments about this. When you reflect on your intentions, let's say, for the next year and reflections on the last, excuse me, I think there's an essential cognitive fallacy that I see perturbs people a lot, and I would like to bring some attention to it, okay? And that is, whether we know it or not, we live in a culture that has this very hardwired binary thinking. It's either right or wrong, okay? This very, very closed yes or no kind of bifurcation. It's kind of baked in, okay? And I'm embarrassed to say that most maybe of the world's religious traditions kind of count on that. Not at all in the Buddha Dharma, thankfully. But it's important to realize that it's not a matter of what your life should be and then it's not that. As though there's only one correct answer for you. As though there's only one perfect way for your life to live. And if you don't find that one perfect way, you forever will suffer. I say no. This is silly. This is immature thinking. It's far more delicious and far more complicated than that, dear one. This tradition of awakening that we share in together is not a matter of we do it right and everyone else is wrong. This is ridiculous. This is just silly thinking. It's true that there are near infinite wrong ways to do things. That is true. There are so many ways you could be having a worse day. There really are. There's lots of ways you could really screw yourself up. And almost infinite. I mean, how many ways could you derail your life? 1, 2, I mean, just keep how many stars in the heavens, right? It's true, there's lots of wrong ways. But here's the thing, it's not the case that there's all these various wrong ways and the one true way. That's not actually accurate at all. It's more like there actually are multiple peaks of yes. There's actually multiple ways to do your life quite well. There's multiple right answers. It's not just multiple choice where one answer is correct, always guess C if you don't know, and the others are wrong. This is not good training for the soul. It's good for machinery. Does the gear fit or not? Okay, but it's not good for the soul. It's not good for your spirit. There is multiple right answers to the koan of you. There are multiple beautiful expressions of your life that all are completely correct. And guess what? They don't all agree. They don't all agree. No, they don't. And so here's the clarity. Do not compare multiple yeses by the standard of yes and no. This is a grave injury to yourself. So, this is very important. If you're causing yourself stress, reviewing all the possible ways it could be right, and trying to figure out what's the one true, it's a fool's errand. Rather, at some point you must discern. You actually do have to decide. And as we all know the saying, even the decision to not decide, that's your decision then. That karma will unfold. But not thinking like, I found the one true way and it's always going to be like this, but rather, this is the correct now. This is authentic in this moment, boom. And there are other possible corrects, but this is the one that I align with. This is the most correct peak that I can contact at this time. And therefore, this is what I'm doing. Knowing full well, there are other possibles, other ways to express. This is far more real, and therefore far more durable. Okay. If the thinking that you're operating yourself by is not in full contact with reality, it is vulnerable. And all of us are vulnerable. How do we become less vulnerable? We have to be willing to really be honest, and then we have to have noble friends who align around the same peak of yes, given that there are multiple of them. I'll bring a wonderful example to your attention. Within the Buddhist tradition, okay, I can hold up, and I will quickly hold up, Bhikkhu Bodhi. Okay, if you don't know Bhikkhu Bodhi, I'm happy to introduce you to the name, okay? Preeminent expositor of the Pali Canon tradition. I happily sit at this man's feet every chance I get. I've been lucky enough to be in conversation with him several times. His teachings on the Abhidharma, I can't speak highly enough of, although watch out, it's kind of complicated. But his take of the Theravadan tradition and the Nikaya tradition is impeccable. And it's beautiful. And it's nothing like Thich Nhat Hanh at all, okay? Thich Nhat Hanh, I will sit at Thich Nhat Hanh's feet. I listen to Thay's teaching. He brings many, many gifts in his way of Zen practice. And here's the thing, there are folks that align around Bhikkhu Bodhi's way of practice and folks that align around Thich Nhat Hanh's way of practice. Which one is right? Okay, let's bring up another rock star. Let's throw in the Dalai Lama while we're at it. Okay, let's bring him in the ring. Now here you've got, I'll sit at his feet happily and listen to his teachings all day. Great teachings, great practice, great soul, great gumption, great spirit. Now think of this, okay? It's one Buddhist Sangha, and yet you have Bhikkhu Bodhi's way, and let's say Thich Nhat Hanh's way, let's say, and then you've got Dalai Lama's way. And these are just obvious. The only reason I'm bringing these names is you're most likely to have heard of them, okay? Multiple peaks of yes. Now, what are you going to do? Okay, now if you freeze saying, well, I can't decide and I won't decide because I can't tell, then you fall into a trap. You see? At some point you must say, I will now. You have to have a primary way in. You must. You've got to land somewhere so that you can get in. And that primary path, that primary way, is one of the peaks of alignment around, in our case, the Buddha Dharma. Okay? And you've got to settle down and say, I choose this one. And keep your eyes open. Keep your heart open. Keep your feet on the ground. Feel what you're feeling. Notice what you're noticing. Feel how practice and teaching are landing. All of my teachers demonstrated this relentlessly. And then in this way, actually, you can take nutrition from all the different yeses that are out there and not be derailed or disturbed or disheartened. In fact, be encouraged. In fact, that Bhikkhu Bodhi has spent his life doing what he's doing, and Thich Nhat Hanh gave the gifts he gives, and the Dalai Lama. The Mahasangha is stronger because of this diversity. It's not at all a matter of which one's right. And those three fellows would tell you that. So, in our own way of practice, here in Daishin Kokuji, right, Zen Buddhist Temple of Toledo, so too, there are multiple peaks of yes. There are multiple ways of practicing impeccably within the mandala that is our Sangha's work, within the mandala of our Sangha's project. There are many beautiful mandalas out there. I wish there was more. It's a little lonely, frankly. I wish that there was as many Sanghas per state as there are McDonald's. I would love that. Am I threatened by that? No. I'm enlightened. I would love to live in that. Would you love to live in a world like that? Wouldn't it be amazing if you're down at the local what have you shop and the odds are good that someone there is also a practitioner in some beautiful way? Wouldn't this be better? Yeah, it would. Yeah, it would. But even within this community, or even right here, you have to be very, very careful not to judge your current practice against someone else's. Be very careful about this. Be very careful about this. You can derail your own depth by comparing and contrasting yourself with each other. For example, there are many people that come here and practice and they are non-Buddhist. And they don't want to, particularly don't really want to become Buddhist. Are they lesser? Hell no. Absolutely not. That is one of the peaks of perfection. Absolutely perfect for that person. Absolutely killing it. They come in and they practice and they get nourishment and depth and succor and counsel, community, and they exactly in the right place. Now for someone else, or maybe that same person in a different decade, say, that might not be what they really want to do anymore. And they have to be able to identify, well, if I do or don't, is it wholesome or unwholesome? That's the only criteria. I would much rather have a person from wholesome, good, rational, good feeling, good hara, intelligence, stay non-Buddhist and practice for a long time than force themselves to become Buddhist, whatever that means, and then find out it was the wrong thing and quit. Which one is the right answer? The right answer is the practitioner that's deepening in compassion and wisdom and love And if staying non-Buddhist helps that, please do that. If being non-Buddhist no longer serves that, please consider becoming Buddhist. Please do this. Not because objectively that's some box you have to check, but that now, given your current state of evolution, that's actually the peak for you. And who knows this? No one but you. How terrifying. How terrifying. You mean the big holy dude with the beard's not going to tell me what to do? No, he's not. At least I'm not. I'll show you what I do. I will. I will open my heart and I will open my heart to you. I will show you everything that I do and why. But you are sovereign. You choose you. And then there are those that make the choice to practice as Buddhist and identify as Buddhist and become recognized as such. If this is the correct peak for you, it's a beautiful and amazing and wondrous thing. And do not look at those who choose otherwise as lesser. You violate your precepts if you do that. Oh, Buddhist. Yeah. Famous koan in the gate. The non-Buddhist comes and approaches the Buddha. The details of the exchange I'll leave aside for right now, but what happened was that non-Buddhist came to awakening in the Buddha's presence, made his bows and left, and old Ananda's like, what was that? What happened? What did he see? Interesting, huh? Those who practice Tara formally. Those who take up the way of Sesshin and Koan. Those who take up the practice of Shoken, practicing in that way. The same as Jakai. Okay? If that's the correct peak for you, do that. If it's not, please do not. Not because, oh, you see, here's the thing, our educational system, and I'm speaking as a professional educator, okay? What do I have to do to graduate? These classes and these orders. Okay, what do I have to do in this class? Here's the syllabus. What's going to be covered? Here's what's going to be covered. What's the rubric? Here's the damn rubric. Okay. But just be very careful how for certain things, this is fantastic. I'm not saying it's wrong or anything. It's just one right way to learn how to learn. It's not the only right way to learn how to learn. And in terms of spiritual growth, it's a horrible way to learn how to learn. It's detrimental as all hell. Literally. It's a matter about discernment. Actual trust yourself, listen to yourself, discernment. And if there are folks who are at other peaks of practice, then be inspired and be nourished by. Rejoice in other people's virtue. Rejoice in the fact that, let us say, the non-Buddhist continues to practice beautifully as a non-Buddhist. That brings nourishment to the Sangha. This is not a problem. This is not someone we have to convert or else they're going to burn in some silly Buddhist hell for eternity if we don't save them. Please, please. No. And it keeps going. Practice as a disciple. That's a serious thing. That's a serious thing. But I tell you, when some person moves into that phase of practice and training, does it diminish everyone else or does it enhance everyone else? Okay? If we're honest about it, it enhances everybody else. The whole Sangha is better off, right? I remember myself as a very young jazz musician. Every time I heard somebody who could play better than me, I got depressed. I was depressed a lot. Really, it was an issue for me. It was a very real issue for me. And my Zen training helped me with this immensely, you know. I came to realize everyone was me. Actually, yes. Every person playing every concert is none other than myself. And suddenly, the more people that could play, the better the art was, and the more joy there was in the world. And guess what happened to my playing? No longer concerned about looking good or sounding good. It's too late for either of those. Just play. Your Dharma practice is like that, or it can be. Now, I understand. There are people that practice very sincerely and very deeply, and not asked to be disciple at this time. Be inspired by the truth of this. And it keeps going this way. Those who end up assisting with the teaching in various ways, guiding teachers, abbots, priests, people who come into residence, people who take on leadership in this community. We have some 20 coordinators, rough cut. And these coordinators is taking power and authority and dispersing it to the Sangha, so that these coordinators have capacity to make decisions and judgments about their area. You see, does that lessen anyone? No, this enhances the entire community. Consider, well, I'll pick on Reverend Kaishan since he's staring at me. There was a time when, oh gosh, we need Raksu, what do we do? And like kind of nobody knew. So Doan took stabs at it. Some of us may remember those days. And then we sort of said, okay, we need someone to actually learn this skill. And Kaishan said, let me serve. And so Kaishan got training. Reverend Kaishan went and got training in a legit lineage of Raksu sewing, Yohoi lineage. And now sits before us as a sewing teacher. With more to learn, of course, we all do. But now coordinates sewing at the temple and has now others, Bansho and Shugen and others that contribute and have skills. Now, for anybody who's had to sew a Raksu, how grateful are you for Reverend Kaishan and his team? Okay? Are you threatened? Is anybody here threatened that Kaishan went and got some chops for sewing? Obviously, hopefully, obviously not. The whole Sangha is way better off, and you had a much better week, okay, during that Jukai retreat. It's self-evident, yes? So it's like this in everything. It's like this in everything. If you find your right yes for this moment, and you have the gumption to live it, everyone is better off for it, especially, dear one, you. And you can't look around and say, how's this supposed to look, and try to plug yourself into somebody else's robe. It doesn't work like that. But there is a mandala. Okay? The mandala, the institution, same thing. The mandala is the framework within which we all practice. And the mandala is not a pizza. I love pizza, but it's not a pizza. Pizza is a finite thing. Okay? I cut the pizza in half and I eat half, then there's only half left for everybody else. Right? And the Dharma is not like this. It's a flower. It's a lotus. Okay? The more the lotus opens and the more people find their place and nourish that, the better the whole lotus is. Entirely, this is so. So this afternoon, from 2:30 to 5, I'll be giving teachings to those who have taken on some authority in this community as in the role of coordinator of various a sewing coordinator, buildings and grounds, kitchen coordinator, on and on. Ethics and Reconciliation Council. There's a lot. And they're all really important. And then later this evening, in my role as abbot, I will be receiving for the first time monastic vows for our community. We have two, Reverend Kensei and Reverend Doan. Now, this is very significant in the life of our community. In the same way that we have seen our first lay disciple, and Kosha did so handsomely with this, and his practice is such a good example. This is very significant to this community. So too, monastic as an option, not as a requirement, not as the peak you should be but can't, not as something you compare yourself to as ever failing. No, but as another one of these peaks of yes. Ordination itself is an evolving thing. The way that we have priests in this community, of which I am one, allows for a full life, full contact with life, a career, etc. Raising kids and so on. Not raising so on. Oh wait, I have to. No, but dear ones, let us chat for a moment, okay? The coordinators take on a share of leadership and authority in this community, and it's serious business, and it's really important, necessary for the thriving. If you're a small band of a dozen Dharma friends, you don't need a dozen coordinators. It's a little silly. But if you're going to help this many people, absolutely necessary. How stagnant would it be for all the authority to stay in the hands of one person? It would be ridiculous. And so too, having the possibility and the expression of monastic practice here does not mean that it's a shift away from something else. Now, please understand, in the same way that there are multiple peaks of yes, this is not a shift, right? It's not a pizza, okay? When I say it, if you think about now that there's a monastic option here, that's a shift, what that means is in your mind you're shifting away from something else, like it's either or, it's this binary. And this is not a sufficient way to see it. There's another petal opening. The residential option in a more durable form, that's all it is. And in the same way that, I'll pick on Kaishin, or the same way that Reverend Kaishin has run residential experiments for several years now, and then suddenly there's a residential program. It's not sudden, we've been working on it for years. A couple of weeks at a time, right? Same way now, monastic life occurs here. It's still the Buddhist temple of Toledo, it's not the Buddhist monastery of Toledo. But there is a monastic component, and all that means is that in addition to being ordained, there are additional vows that these folks are taking. And they really have to simply do a stability of place. It simply says that of all the possible peaks of yes in the world, which there are many, Buddhism is just one of them. And within Buddhism, this is one of the ways of doing that. And within this mandala, this is one of the ways of practicing. Within all of that, then there is this choice to live with stability. And it means actually living on ground, on campus, so to speak. The monastic, now a priest doesn't have to do that, but a monastic does, and that's one of the differences. Monastic means this person is living here, on these grounds. And its grounds is the spiritual and physical home, and the schedule is a primary life commitment. Not just when you come to session or just trying to make it more Sundays than not. The actual schedule as it is. Now, this is all within human realities of health and wellness and so on. Just be mature and adult about it. But that schedule is the primary activity. And because of the monastic stability and manifesting the schedule that way, all the others of us have the option to drop into something that's happening. You see, you can come to the Thursday noon service because the monastic's making sure it's happening. So you have the privilege to opt in or out. So this monastic practice has enhanced everyone's life. You have more choice now. Does it make sense? Simplicity is a very important part of monastic life. There are many shiny things, many dangly, interesting things. And the monastic is someone who consciously decides to whittle these things away, not because they're evil or yada yada, but simply because that energy is being conserved to serve you, to serve me, to serve the Sangha, to serve the mandala, the institution that we have here together that serves us. What's the institution about? What is the mandala about? It's about us, people practicing the Dharma together for the alleviation of suffering and for full and complete awakening. That's what it is. It's not something different from that. And it's not the only way to do it. But this is this way of doing it. There has to be a flexibility and a fluidity to the monastic life. Monasticism started with the Buddha. The Buddhist Sangha is the oldest human institution in existence, 2,600-year-old institution. And I'm using that word very consciously. It's not an ethnicity, it's not a nation. It's an organized human activity that has been passed on, and we all inherit it. But it's fluid, it's alive. It's not a stagnant pond where the water just stays the way it's always been. No one wants to go for a swim in a stagnant pond. You. No. It's a fresh, flowing river. It's fresh and it's new and there's beautiful, clear water because it's moving. And yes, it's the same river. It's the same heart of wisdom, but it's alive, baby. It's alive. That's why you want to get in there and get fresh, right? It's good for you. So this responsiveness is what I'm looking for in a monastic here. Not some white knuckling down on some schedule. Let's see the life, blood of the lineage pulsing in your day. Now again, I am currently unable to manifest this way of practicing. My causes and conditions and situation are such that I have, and I need to have this career over at the university, and so I do. That's my cause and condition right now. And I still have the option to. Does it enhance or diminish my practice that Doan is making a monastic vow? It enhances it. As long as it's true and authentic for her, which it is. And in this way, when I go and arise as a professor, which I do, I just arise there as a professor. And that actually enhances the monastic path. It's all mutually enhancing. It's all mutually nourishing. Every place on the mandala is the center, as long as you're in the right place for you. This ancient way of being is not exclusive to the monastic. No, it's not. It's not exclusive to the ordained or to the disciples, to the shoken, sesshin people. It's not the exclusive purview of the Tara practitioner or the Jakai recipient or any of us. It is our foundational human birthright. So for the sake of all of us, this evening, sometime, there'll be a very small and very discreet ceremony where the abbot, in this case myself, will receive the monastic vows from these folks. In this case, Reverend Kensei and Reverend Doan. And it'll be a very simple affair. A simple pledging, a simple receiving and exchanging of commitment to each other. I can't think of a better way to spend the solstice. To gather with you this morning, I can feel the vibration of the Tara practice protecting and nourishing all of us. We gather. What do? We come in, the first thing you do, you drop and you bow. Yes, you do. And yes, I do. Yes, we all do. It is the most appropriate response to life I know. Thank you, gratitude, and yes. And humility. Did you design the fact of your birth? Can you guarantee your life for tomorrow? What better response? And then what? Then we recite the teachings together. We take refuge in the awakened nature of things, in the teachings and the practice and manifestations of reality, and in community. Community of folks, not the righteous against the unrighteous, but those who happen to have affinity with this one particular way of practicing. So we all line up together and we practice this way. We recite the Buddhist teachings about alleviation of suffering. We generate love and compassion. Then what? Then we stand up and do a bit of Buddhist magic. That's what we do. We all stand for the Heart Sutra. We invoke form and emptiness and form. And a priest does their craft, and we all contribute. Magic. And then what do? Then we come into stillness. Let everything go. Simply be. There's the truth of things right there. And to help us feel into that truth, someone has the burden of trying to speak something useful. Most of us have the burden of trying to listen usefully. And then we take all of this wonderful experience that we're privileged to have, and we wrap it up with the vows to alleviate suffering for all beings throughout space and time, which does not mean twist people's arms to come and be here. But it does mean taking seriously the fact of suffering in the world. And it's a vast world. So, at the sound of the bell, what will you do? That bell tolls, my friend. For me, I know what I'm doing. I'm going to bring my hands together, and I'm going to set intentions and dedicate merit and voice vows to practice for the sake of all beings throughout space and time. And I'm going to take the gift that was given to me, and I'm going to give it to everybody who cares to hear it. And I'm so glad you're here today. For the sake of all beings throughout space and time, may these Dharma teachings remove obstacles and obstructions to practice. May it be so.